We're back, people, and today we're bringing film on the Miami Dolphins offense and Tua Tagovailoa. Just really taking a look at how this game went. It wasn't their best game of the season. It wasn't their worst game either. They were moving the ball really well, but there's just so many little things that they really just kept the Raiders in the game. They're still able to pull it off, which is important. I think getting a good defensive win, I think, is nice for this team. That has really been the offense a lot throughout the season that has led to a lot of these wins. But I think, you can win in multiple different ways. Putting teams away that you're better than, that's important too. This was like the first time they really let the other team kind of hang around that they shouldn't have allowed for the most part. They made a lot of tiny mistakes. I think it's a good example of, like, you look at this game and you can really see the Dolphins' strengths on display, but also their weaknesses. Like, both are full on display that they've had throughout the years. They were moving the ball down the field, getting explosive plays, doing all that stuff, but then they would have some mistake turnovers that I'm not going to say are going to be super common in the future. That's why I'm not super worried about those specific plays, but really struggling in short yardage. They left a lot of points on the field. They missed a field goal. Didn't get, a 4th and 1 in like the 5-yard line. A couple other dumb plays, not helping out the defense. These are things that matters. I think some people are overreacting. I know I saw people say, the whole Tua looked off thing. I don't think Tua had a great game at all. I don't think it was bad either. I think, some people are like, wow, you looked really awful. And the stats don't always tell the full story. I'll always be a film guy first. Like here, he gets, this fumble. This play I'm not too worried about because I'm always like a process over results guy. The results obviously end with a fumble. I think the process of the play is pretty good, and I'm not worried about this type of thing in the future because Tua's not really a runner, and I expect him to really slide because this is a 3rd and short situation. His first and second read to the side of the field are not there. He sees this opening and he starts to run for it. It's not really a big part of his game, so I don't expect this to be a huge common thing in the future. And usually he would slide, but I get why he ran and, dove forward on this one to get the first down, because if he did slide, he wouldn't have got it because he would have started to slide right here, and he's still behind the first down line. And the ball just comes out. He's also a little unfortunate because his forearm probably would have been down, but it landed on the other Raiders player's cleat, and then the ball came out. So just little things that they need to work on. They're really good at the hard stuff, but not so good at the easy stuff. It doesn't really make any sense. So I think, in the future, if they can just clean up the easy stuff, which actually gives me some confidence for future play, because the offense is still moving the ball. They just need to finish certain things. Like, they could have easily had like 30 points in this game, and that would have been a solid offensive performance, and the defense really played great. So, I think once the offense starts to clean things up a little bit, which I think they have a chance, the Jets matchup will be tough, but going against like Washington, Titans, they can really, show out in those games, and we'll see what the future holds for this offensive team. I was thinking another thing that played a big factor in this game was the Achane injury. Not just because you're losing a great player in Achane, which is obviously a big thing because we wanted to see him back in the new offense. Hopefully it's not a long term. I know they talked about it wasn't too serious. They just wanted to protect him. But I also think with Durham Smythe being injured, they really planned to run a lot of 21 personnel. Like, 21 personnel was a huge part of the game plan here. Getting Achane and Mostert on the field, because in that first the first 2 drives where Achane was playing, they were like both on the field a lot, and then they had to switch and play a lot of 11 personnel after this. So I think that kind of changed up their game plan and could have thrown off the pace for them. Shout out Mostert though, like, he was a warrior. Ahmed ended up getting hurt, and like Ahmed's here on this play after the Achane injury, but they were still going more 11. Wilson was a healthy scratch, but they really relied on Raheem a lot in this game. They ran the ball downhill, decently effective. Like, they still need to be better as a running team, but it was nice to see them create some of a push. I don't think the O-line played great overall. I'll probably get some, I think, I'll get an Austin Jackson breakdown because I thought he was the best of the bunch. But the guards definitely had their struggles, which I think played a part in throwing off the timing and making Tua feel a little bit uncomfortable. We'll get to some of Tua's, great plays, his negative plays. Overall, it was a pretty mixed bag. But if those are your, I feel like people are overreacting a little bit in the sense that if you look at all the other NFL teams, like, even the best quarterbacks have much worse games than this on a more regular basis, in my opinion, than Tua usually does. So, but running the ball down here with Mostert, I like to see them running some inside zone. I want to see more of this. Look at him creating some push here with this combo. Get downhill, allow Mostert to get vertical. He's wasting no time, and I think that's a big thing that they can build on. Fortunately, they did get they got sacked, but it got a defensive holding. That was nice to keep this drive alive after the fumble. Play action hit to Tyreek down the field. Raiders actually, I think, did a very good job in the secondary on these inbreakers, making them pretty contested. You'll see later on they started running, more like deep comebacks, outs and things, and they were getting wide open. Dolphins actually been pretty effective outside the numbers on those throws because Tyreek's so good at creating separation to his throwing with anticipation, and teams are hard playing on these inside the numbers, and I think that will be helpful in the long run for the Dolphins if teams can't just hard play inside leverage like this. But even, off the play action, ball's thrown super early. Like, look how when Tua throws this. Tyreek making a tough catch here, too, because it was nice to see Tyreek making some catches in tough situations in this game. Same with Cedric Wilson. But there were still some plays, I think, the receivers also left on the field. Everyone, I think, on the entire offensive unit could have played better. But it's not something like I think there's concerns to be had. McDaniel, we'll get to that stuff as well. All need to be better, I think. But it's not something I think, that is going to crush them in the future. And then here's the touchdown. Raiders rotate into a cover 3. They're trying to disguise this here, like split safety look. But he becomes the robber. You get the exact look that they want. You can see this from the angle. I mean, Tyreek's just, a freak. They throw this ball with good timing. Tua's seeing this. He's seeing 41, get down. So he knows he's going to have this spot of the field open if that safety drops. And once he sees that, he sees that safety get back, gain some depth. So he throws the ball with the timing. Tyreek catches it in stride, and he's just gone. Big plays. The Dolphins offense, kind of relies on it at times. They just need to be better at the little things. Another big-time conversion. Even though the Dolphins offense, really had an off day and struggled, they still had some big plays down the field, some really impressive plays. I mean, Tyreek is amazing. And this throw from Tua, really impressive. You can see he's looking off this flat defender with his eyes, wants to get him wide. He knows this hook defender is going to get taken by the number 3. If he gets pulled inside just enough, he throws the ball so early. This is ridiculous to fit that ball into that window, and then Tyreek to make another tough catch in traffic in a third down situation. These are some very impressive plays. That's, the marriage of the scheme. And you can see Tua with his eyes and feet and then readjust. That's really good mechanics and rhythm in the pocket, and then you fit that ball into a tight window. That is the bread and butter of this offense, other than, that seam rail slide RPO. Unfortunately, they have, some mess ups. They had a false start before this. There were some questionable things with, some runs didn't work, not great blocking. Then you throw this down to Ahmed. Pretty good play call. I like the setup. You get everything to work up vertically, and this could get you close to the first down, on a 3rd and long. And it gets you down to 4th and 1. But the next play is where I really have, the issues. Just come out and run the ball. Even in shotgun. I would prefer not to be in shotgun, but with how they set this up, I actually like the look here. They go heavy to this side, so you get all the numbers out here, but with most are on the right, you could easily run to the left here. If these guys block straight up, they actually have a good number advantage this side, but they try to throw this screen to Tyreek. It doesn't make, personally, I just don't love it. Doesn't make any sense for them to throw this, in my opinion, because they have the number advantage over here. Look what Craycraft has to do. He has to set this up he's going to fake block this guy to slow down the nickel, get engaged, and then he has to go out and block 39 out on the edge. It's an impossible ask of your wide receiver. Tyreek gets hit right as he catches the ball. I don't love that call at all. Just hand the ball off to Raheem. He gets downhill. If he gets the ball right here, hand it off, he probably could just hit through this hole, maybe even score. It's the team was running the ball pretty successfully for the most part. It wasn't getting a bunch of yards every single play, but they're usually getting positive even when they were in obvious run situations. This is the next drive after, that, debacle. Still just need to be better. Here's some seam rail slide RPO. Waddle becomes this. This is the drive Tyreek didn't play either. They go seam rail slide RPO, cheat out motion with Cedric. Tua does a good job manipulating this defender with his eyes. Look how he moves him out of the way. Get Waddle going. Waddle kind of takes over the Tyreek role. He got involved. It was he had 3 catches on this drive. He got a screen, seam rail slide RPO, get him involved, and they move the ball down the field pretty effectively. I think this is something that McDaniel can look at and I think learn upon. It doesn't always have to force feed Tyreek because teams pay a lot of attention to him, and allow Waddle to do a little more work and run the ball effectively. Waddle again, I like this. Getting some of the easy stuff. You get the cheat out motion. You get them to widen out here. I don't know what that defender's doing, but you just get some easy stuff. Let Waddle run some basic routes, sometimes some option routes. Let him work some inside leverage, set this up. Things are, blocked up pretty well up front. I'll get to the blocking more in the other video, not focus on it too much. But this is where Waddle can really excel when you get him these types of, routes. And it's just easy space created. He attacks it inside leverage, sees that 39's not even really paying attention to him. So he's like, oh, I'm just going to take this for free. Let him go to work and then pick up a nice first down. it looked like the offense was running pretty smoothly on this drive. There is a sack on this play. Tua's first read to Cedric, not there, but he really can't go to another read in his progression. I mean, everything's taken away to this side of the field, but Liam gets beat bad. Like, Crosby ends up getting credit for the sack, but that play, it's not like, this is where like sacks can sometimes be misleading as a stat because he doesn't really do too much. He kind of just jumps up at the line of scrimmage, try to take away that initial throw. Jackson does his job, but Liam just loses his one-on-one matchup really badly. They sided protection to the left, gets beat there, so Tua has to step up in the pocket. Then there he has to avoid another guy. There's just nothing for him to really do on that play, but they are able to capitalize on the 3rd and long. Now, I know people have been a little harsh on McDaniel, but you got to give credit what credit is due. I mean, he's still, in my opinion, one of the better coaches in the league, one of the better play callers. He has his struggles in short yardage situations, but this is a 3rd and long, and this is a beautiful play call. The angle screen like this, oh my god, it works perfectly, and it gets the exact call you need. Like, the Raiders are showing 0 here. They bring everyone. Tua just has to gain some depth here, and everyone stays in the block except Connor. Connor gives a little like hesitation there, and this ends up working out perfectly with timing and everything. Ahmed, great job of selling this to the flat too, to get this guy widened far enough. Now catch it. He catches it, and right as he catches it, Connor's right there about to be engaged with the linebacker to cut him off. And now Hill's blocking in the end zone, and then Ahmed gets a walk-in touchdown. That is a beautifully designed play. Probably my favorite play design of the day. Great work from McDaniel, and called it at the perfect time, and great work from Connor Williams too. I think Raheem deserves a lot of credit for this game. He carried that load, like I was saying earlier, and he was running hard. And I know he came into the game with an injury. Look at him just bully that guy. Now, this play doesn't end up mattering because you'll see the next play. But got to give credit to Raheem for making some big-time plays, big-time runs. I think, they got to rely on him more and more as this season goes on. Would like to see, hopefully, Achane can stay healthy because then you can really run the ball more without working one of them. And then, whether you have Wilson or Ahmed, who's ever, your third guy in that specific game, just depends. I think, the running game is going to be very important, especially come December. This was another big play because this is right before half. They get another 3 free points for the Raiders. Tua makes a good read, good throw, and everything's pretty nice. The good timing of it. This is where they miss Smythe. I know some people don't love Smythe. He's a solid blocker, but he's also very reliable. He has solid hands. He knows exactly where to be, and he doesn't fumble. He's an undrafted rookie. He made a mistake. I'm not going to hate on the kid too hard. This stuff happens. Just don't let it become a regular thing. They end up winning the game too. Like, this is pretty nice, to get to your spot, catch the ball, flip and transition upfield like that. But he's got to be able to hang on to this. This is, just another big play where they put the defense in a rough position, but they only held him to a field goal, which is a good thing. Just too many little mistakes like this. Can't have this become common because they happened in the Chiefs game with the Tyreek fumble. They've kind of just shot themselves in the foot because they're still moving the ball well, which I think is a good sign for future success. If you can move the ball really well, those touchdowns will come. They've been really efficient for most of the year. It's just got to get back to them. Then they come out of half and throw the deep interception from Tua. This play, don't love it. Raiders are in cover 3. I understand, he made the correct decision in my opinion because the Tyreek stuff is not there, so he comes off of it. He probably could have dumped it down to Cedric. I don't think it would have gained much. 37 probably would have closed pretty quickly. Both dump-offs had guys there to make tackles, And from what he saw with Waddle here, he could have thrown this, but he throws it right as Waddle breaks. And I do think he expects Waddle to take a deeper angle, which makes sense for the route he's running. But based on the safety's leverage, I think Waddle makes the correct decision to sort of flatten it out a little bit. So him and Tua just not being on the same page, and then Tua just throws it way too far. He just misses him because they were slightly off page there, but also still should have probably just gone to the check down after not going to Tyreek was the correct decision, but then going to Waddle probably should have left it a little more flat, but just a little bit off connection there. Not a great interception from Tua. I think if this play came on 3rd down specifically, I actually wouldn't be too mad because it basically would just be a punt. But it came on 1st down, which is the biggest problem. It doesn't end up mattering in the long run in this game, but because I think they just get the ball right back after this, so it didn't really matter too much. But this is something that you want to limit in the future, and at least it comes on him pushing the ball down the field. If you're going to throw an interception, let it be from you being aggressive. Like I was saying earlier, the deep comebacks. The Raiders started playing, hard inside leverage. Like, he just sells that inside on the quarters for Marcus Peters, and they just started taking this stuff with Tyreek. It happened a couple times in this game. They get the play action behind the back. I like the setup here. They go out in 21 personnel with Angled in the backfield. I'm sure they would have loved it for 2 running backs. Jackson does a good job forcing Crosby to the ground. Everything gets blocked up nicely with the play action. Look at Tua already releasing this way before Tyreek breaks. This is why they're able to run this, because Tyreek creates so much separation. So even if Tua doesn't throw with anticipation there, that still gets completed. But usually you're not going to have that much separation, but that's just a great route from Tyreek. Great execution. I like the play call, and I would like to see more of this just because I think it would also open up, more of the stuff back to the middle. This was a play that sort of ended this drive. I think this is the one where they missed a field goal after this, which is unfortunate. Him and Tua just missed this one. This is one of the misses that you usually don't see him have. This is not something I'm too concerned with in the future, because he usually hits these types of plays. He felt a little bit of pressure, doesn't like what he sees to this side of the field, just understands this is sort of all taken away. Starts to feel some pressure, steps up, probably could have, stayed a little more patient, but I think he feels Crosby coming to him, rolls out to the left, and he starts to throw it before Cedric even breaks, it's hard to throw, anticipation throws on breaks when it's, everything's off script a little bit, because you're, moving out of the pocket. It's not all natural, so it's hard to anticipate that stuff, and that's why usually when everything's on script and he's throwing with anticipation like that, you know exactly where your receiver's supposed to be because you practice it, but when you're throwing it like this, he just misses him a little bit to the outside. It was, not the easiest throw to make when the receiver hasn't broken yet and you're feeling some pressure. But this is stuff I think Tua usually makes, and he was slightly off at times in this game. Now this play was where Tua, if this was intercepted, which it should have been, is a worse play than the actual interception read wise, because he just tried to force this in here. I don't even think he saw Spillane. I think he just looked this down the whole way. He's not usually like this. I think he just thought he liked what he saw pre-snap and didn't expect this linebacker to get over there. But like I showed in my previous video, 41, Robert Spillane, is reading ice heavy. So you were able to manipulate him, but he definitely flowed into that play and could have been a bad interception for sure. But it at least didn't end up happening. These are plays I think, Tua needs to be better on. He still, had a great season overall, but it will be fine, guys. This is also a play Waddle has to make the very next play right after that dropped pick. It's a 3rd and 7 now. I think Tua throws it to the correct spot. He puts it low, exactly where he had to. He throws the ball with anticipation. Ball is already out before Waddle's even broken. He put it low and away so he can protect him. And it's a tough catch. It definitely is, but it's something, Waddle's got to get his hands under. Got to see him make these plays a little more often, because they had a couple plays in these scenarios where drives could have kept going, but they weren't able to finish. Another deep comeback route to Tyreek. Look how hard they're playing inside leverage on quarters, and they kept calling this versus quarters, which is really good because Tyreek's basically getting bracketed here as inside help, and 39's so worried about getting beat over the top that he gets so far into the inside. He gets way too far inside leverage. Tyreek just gets him to open up to it, throwing with anticipation. That stuff was working really well. They were still moving the ball down the field very effectively, and that ball comes out so fast because with the play action, it slows down the pass rush just enough. Angled gets in the way. They bring Croft to get on Crosby, or Angled chips him, then Croft comes in there, and Crosby still gets there very fast, but the ball coming out way too fast. This is the last play that I'm going to break down for this video. There's a couple of other nice plays on this drive to get down here. Nice Cedric Wilson catch. Good play from Tua on that. And this is the one, I've seen people talk about. First of all, the first down play on here was an RPO to Angled. They got down to 2nd and 1. They got 9 yards. 2nd and 1, they run another RPO. It was a pretty light box. They could have easily ran it for a first down. I don't love that call. Just run the ball. They do not run the ball. They didn't run the ball on 2nd and 1, and then they didn't run the ball on 3rd and 1 here, and then they kicked a field goal. Now, that, I think, is the biggest problem with my situation here. Now they'll go to this play, and I know people said Tua should have thrown this to Craycraft. Right here, he would have had to see this through all these guys, and his first read right here is Tyreek. He wants to throw it to Tyreek here, but it's be a tough throw to make with that defender in his face. He pump fakes it. Now Craycraft is starting to come wide open. He's off balance. He just did a pump fake. Defender's kind of in his face right there. It was probably his last option. You usually don't throw this route. This is something you only throw if he just you see him late coming wide open. He goes to Tyreek, then come back to Angled. Got it. I mean, I know this is your fullback, but you want to see Alec catch this as well. Tua throwing across his body in a tough spot. I think there was a lot other negative. I feel like people are trying to use this play as a negative for Tua. Maybe a little bit, but there was definitely more negative plays in this one to point out if you're going to go for that. The interception or the dropped interception, the miss to Cedric that I showed earlier. This one, I actually understood why I didn't throw it to Tyreek. This guy was in his face, then throws it back across his body, gives Ingold a chance, but he's just not able to hang on. Probably could have, thrown a little bit more. This is where, the lack of arm strength can hurt you when you have to, throw off platform and across your body like that. But this, I think the biggest problem there was just run the ball in short yardage situations. That's all they have to do, and they just never do it downhill. I don't get it. You have to at least start showing it, because then teams aren't going to expect it. I guess later on, no, down in the season, teams are not going to be expecting it, so if they do start running the ball, it should be pretty effective in those situations. So here's another video. Don't, worry too much about the future just yet. They're still moving the ball well, which is usually, a bigger indicator of their future success. Like, those touchdowns will come. Those, plays, those 50-50 plays, those random, kind of fluky errors that happened that I don't think are going to be super common. They happen, to everyone in the league. That stuff, I think, will be better. So if you guys like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.